The delicate clinking of silverware against porcelain carried to the air like a cruel, rhythmic reminder of the farce unfolding around me. It was supposed to be a celebration, our 10th anniversary, a milestone I had approached with a full heart, picturing a quiet evening between just the two of us. I imagined candlelight, shared laughter, a reminder of everything we had survived together. Instead, Rose insisted we celebrate with others, more specifically with her friend Troy, who now sat across from me, grinning with that oily, smug expression that had always made my skin crawl. It had crept in slowly, the realization, a glance that lingered a moment too long, a hand that brushed too close, too often, things I tried to excuse at first, things I blamed on my own insecurities. But tonight, there was no mistaking it. I saw it with my own eyes. Rose's wink, not to me, but to him. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't shy. It was bold. It was intimate. It was a dagger slid clean between my ribs and twisted with a smile. In that wink, I saw every truth she had tried to bury. I saw their connection, the secret they thought was so cleverly hidden. Troy's eyes caught hers across the table, and between them passed something wordless and vile, a shared understanding so vile it made me nauseous. For a moment, everything blurred. The blood roared in my ears, and I tasted metal. I wanted to flip the table, to scream loud enough to crack the walls, to shake them from their smug little fantasy. But I didn't, because I had a plan. And tonight, that plan was ready. This wasn't the kind of anger that exploded and faded. No, this was quiet, measured, methodical, like the ache of a wound left untreated for too long. I had been building to this moment for weeks, setting each piece in place with the patience of a man who had tasted betrayal and refused to let it swallow him whole. So when I reached under the table and slid a velvet box toward Rose, I did it with calm precision. It was small, elegant, familiar, the same box I'd used when I asked her to marry me. I watched her eyes widen. I saw the flicker of something like joy, real joy, cross her face. She reached for it slowly, almost reverently, a smile tugging at her lips. But when she opened the lid, her smile vanished. The box was empty. Gasps echoed around the table. Hers was the sharpest, the most guttural. The color drained from her face. A delicate tremble stole into her fingers. "Where's the necklace?" she asked, her voice breathy with confusion, dread laced in every syllable. I saw it in that shop window last week. You said." I kept my voice light, conversational, as if we were talking about something trivial. "I didn't think it was perfect," I said, watching her carefully. "But then I had another idea, a different kind of gift, one I think you'll find illuminating." From my jacket pocket, I pulled out a small USB drive and held it up between my fingers. Rose's face went blank. It was a look I'd never seen before. Not guilt, not fear, something deeper. Recognition. She knew. I stood slowly, crossed the wall behind me, and plugged the drive into the small projector I had discreetly brought in earlier. With a soft click, the first image flashed across the blank wall. Her and Troy, together, at his apartment, at her office, laughing in the back of a car, holding hands in the dark hallway of a hotel. The photos spanned months, meticulously collected proof of betrayal threaded through time, including one from our anniversary trip last year, the one she insisted I skip, saying it was just a girls' weekend. The final blow was a short video, just under 3 minutes long, but long enough to show everything. Their betrayal captured in sharp, unforgiving clarity. It was explicit, raw, and utterly damning. Silence engulfed the room. Rose was frozen, staring at the wall like a woman seeing a ghost. Tears streamed down her cheeks, smearing her mascara into streaks of sorrow. Troy, once so arrogantly comfortable, now couldn't lift his eyes from his lap. He looked like a boy caught stealing, small and trembling. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. I turned slowly, facing them both. My voice dropped to a low, measured tone. "You know," I said, "I always thought we were partners, that we were in this together. But I guess some partnerships are built on lies." The rage I had held back so long finally rose to the surface as I moved around the table, and grabbed Troy by the collar of his starched shirt. His eyes widened in panic, his hands coming up in feeble protest. "You!" I hissed, dragging him from his chair as the sound which screeched across the floor. "You had the audacity to sit at my table, look me in the eye, and smile like I was some blind idiot." Before he could form a response, I slammed him against the wall. The sound echoed like thunder through the quiet restaurant. His body buckled on impact, and I saw the fear twist across his face. It wasn't guilt. It was self-preservation. "You're a parasite," I spat. "A leech. You live off what others build. You take and smile while you do it." I hit him. Once. Twice. The pain in my hand barely registered. He crumpled to the ground, whimpering, curling into himself like a cornered rat. The waitstaff moved in, shouting, panicked, tried to separate us. But I wasn't finished. I kicked him, once, square in the ribs. You think you can just walk into someone's life, take their wife, their world, and walk away without consequence. Another kick. He let out a sharp cry. Still didn't fight back. Just whimpered, begged. Eventually, the manager pulled me away. I stood, chest heaving, hands aching but calm. A strange kind of calm. Dark, yes, but cleansing. As if I'd been holding my breath for years and was finally exhaling. The police came not long after. Statements were taken. Troy was hauled out on a stretcher, his face bloodied, jaw swollen. He didn't look smug anymore. He looked like a man who had finally run out of luck. Rose remained where she was, crumpled on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. A puddle of smeared makeup, shattered illusions, and broken vows. I approached her, quietly, slowly. She looked up at me through her tears, eyes wide with pain I no longer felt. I pulled my wedding ring from my finger. It slipped off easily, too easily. I let it fall in front of her. It clinked against the hardwood and rolled slightly before coming to a rest. "Congratulations, Rose," I said, my voice flat. "You've destroyed our marriage. Hope it was worth it." Then I turned and walked away. No destination, no plan, just the weight lifting off my chest with every step. The silence followed me like a shadow, but it didn't frighten me. For the first time in years, it felt like freedom. The days that followed were a blur of chaos. The scandal made local headlines. Troy's name was dragged through the mud. His reputation, his job, obliterated. He was blacklisted, abandoned even by those who once sang his praises. Rose tried to reach me, over and over. Voicemails, texts, emails full of apologies and half-hearted explanations. Pleas for forgiveness that fell flat against the stone wall I'd built. But I had nothing left for her. No pity, no anger. Just a void where love had once lived. Our divorce was swift, brutal, efficient. The lawyers picked through the wreckage like vultures, and Rose was left clutching what was left. Fragment of a life she'd burned down herself. And me? I walked away. Scarred. Yes, but not broken. It wasn't a happy ending. At least not the kind people write stories about. There were no neat bows, no tearful reconciliations. Just ruin, ashes. But it was my ending. And in that truth, in that final, irrevocable moment of reclaiming myself, there was something that tasted like victory.